So Trent Reznor and Atticus Rose of Nine Inch Nails went onto GQ and did a breakdown of their biggest songs. I started watching it. The first two songs was the soundtrack to The Social Network and the soundtrack to Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. And then it went to Hurt. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do this on stream. So let's check this out. This is Trent Reznor and Atticus Rose breaking down Hurt.
I hurt myself today to see if I still...
Dude, what a song.
That song was written also quickly, the end of Downward Spiral, which was labored over. I needed, the album needed a kind of coda and a resolution of sorts. And then that song, I remember coming to life pretty quickly. I never questioned it. I wanted to kind of make it so you couldn't really hear me sing. Like it was meant to not be, I put noise through the whole thing, so there's no chance it can have any commercial life.
Something that is such an iconic vocal line now. Johnny Cash covered it because it's such a great vocal. He intended to be like a background noise, like barely there. Wow.
It was an honest thing, and it wasn't meant to be song lyrics even. It was just, it's how I felt, and it felt desperate when I wrote it.
Oh my God.
Just had it gets to the core.
And you could have it all.
There it is.
My empire of dirt.
Years later, of course, with Johnny Cash, Rick Rubin, who's a friend, called and said, would you mind if we try this song? Of course not. It seemed weird, and I assumed they're probably doing 100 songs, so. Then I get the recording of it a little bit later, and that felt weird, because that's my song, and that big voice in there, and it just felt weird at the moment. I remember I was in the middle of the Fragile when I heard it.
Oh my God.
I'm not ready to process what this is right now. Okay, cool, yeah. And then I got the Mark Romanek video, and that was like, Jesus Christ,
I would find a way.
The thought of, here's the thing
so
I wrote
incredible.
in a very intimate place, and it's connected with someone else with a larger-than-life personality, and then oddly it becomes a kind of epitaph for his life. It happened to be filmed by one of the greatest directors ever, and presented in such a beautiful way. It was like, it reminds you of the power of music and how important it is,
Albums that become my favorite albums, I don't get the first time.
I can't believe that he didn't even, it's so from the heart that he didn't even think people were going to really care or be able to hear what he was saying. He just wanted it to be real. So he just wrote real stuff, and then it was supposed to be background noise, like just this weird voice kind of thing that you could barely hear. And it was so powerful and so real that Johnny Cash turned it into this song about his whole life and career. That's amazing.
I'm listening to it, but I can't stop listening to it because I know that there's something I'm not getting, you know what I mean? And Hurt was my way in to a record that I've listened to hundreds of thousands of times. Obviously, I didn't know Trent then. I was with him when we were working in New Orleans when Mark Romanek's video came out. And I do remember watching that. I don't know what you can say about that video. It was like it was incredible.
Powerful. Oh, the Bowie collab.
I had the privilege and kind of mind-blowing experience of Bowie asking if we'd tour with him, collaborate with him. He's my number one guy, And life was getting weird for me at that time.
Yeah.
But that still seemed impossible that this was happening. And we would sing that live on stage together, and I distinctly remember standing on stage,
levitating,
looking over, and David Bowie singing my song with me.
Oh my God.
And thought, man, how the fuck how's this happening? Like, I'll admit, the reality of touring, having done it for a long time, there's times when it's hard to stay present, but never with Hurt. I always am in there, and I'm feeling it, and I remember how...
obviously I was in a small band, but even at a small level, that is completely true. When you get back from a tour, there's a lot of unpacking that happens because there's so much going on. There's so much on your mind. There's the show and where you're staying and the van and your gear and the people you're meeting and names and other bands. And then you get home and it's just like, I feel like it takes like 2 to 3 weeks after a tour to actually unpack everything that happens, like arguments that happened. And you're just like, wait, how did that argument start? What actually happened? How do I feel now? So imagine getting home and over the next like month thinking about it and being like, that was David Bowie. That was incredible. Like oh, wow.
How I felt when I wrote it, and it's powerful.
All right. And then they go into Watchmen. All right. Head Like a Hole. Let's do it. Another absolute banger.
I had played in some local bands as the keyboard player and wasted a few years dodging, acknowledging that I needed to be happy. I needed to write my own music, and I needed to see if I could write and what I had to say. And I think there was a fear that the answer to that question might be, I can't write, and then I don't know who I am anymore. I started honing in on stuff that would become what Nine Inch Nails was, what it meant to be. When I finally turned it over to a friend of mine that ended up becoming my manager, it was clear to both of us there was something that had an honesty and a power to it. It also had the entanglements of it, felt super embarrassingly naked because I wasn't a character, it was just me, In what seemed like...
In character, that's so interesting to hear him say, but it makes so much sense.
2 hours, Head Like a Hole came together. It was irritating because I'd worked real hard on other songs, had been on their 100th iteration, and Head Like a Hole just kind of fell out of me one day. And because of it, I didn't feel like it earned its right to, it didn't feel that important to me because there wasn't enough agony involved in the process of it. And it was towards the end of the album. I had an opportunity to work with somebody I had great respect for, Flood, but I only had him for a few days, and I sent him a few songs, and one of the ones he wanted to work on was that. He was able to kind of objectively see what I couldn't see, and it really showed me what a smart, collaborative producer can bring to the table. And in that case, he's like, bow down before, that's the chorus.
Yeah, some songs just get overworked.
I don't even know where it was.
And you don't even realize that you had it at the start.
It kind of switched.
That happens a lot with songs that get re-released. Like there's a demo version of a song and everyone loves it. And then you do like the really good recording of it and it just misses something because you just had it the first time. Like North Lane Rot, they released the demo, the first kind of song with Marcus demo version. And then when they put out the official, like we re-recorded it and now it's good. And it's like, this isn't as good. Like it's just missing the soul. So sometimes you just put something together and it's just right.
How I felt about it. It taught me that accept a good idea when it pops in your head.
Yeah.
And hard work doesn't necessarily lead to agonizing over certain songs. I think we're not meant to be born in this world, and sheer will is not going to necessarily make them great.
I always felt like Hand That Feeds is like Head Like a Hole Part 2 almost.
Oklahoma, opening for, might have been Peter Murphy, playing Head Like a Hole, and I could see a guy, towards the back, who he's screaming the lyrics back at me. And it was a moment of, I don't know that guy. I don't know what he thinks it means, but whatever it means to him.
It means a lot.
I've provided that canvas that got me through as old as I was at the time, of music that I felt like was written for me. And I just remember feeling like goosebumps.
Smart work, or even
thinking,
just
if
feel.
it's all over today.
Just feel. Just going with instinct.
It was worth it. I that's what I want to do. I've achieved it, even if it's that one guy in Tulsa,
God, I love hearing him say that at his level. That's what's important, is creating something. He's creating it because it means something for him. And when he sees someone else like, and it means something to them. He doesn't care that it's not the same. He's like, I'm so glad that I created something for them, from them, you know? All right. This will be the last one. Closer. The ultimate baddie core. The ultimate metal song. Let's go. This is one of those songs you crank in the car and it's just the best drive of your life.
Is it a surprise that it's like the biggest hit?
It's the hit.
That's interesting.
I felt the record was so uncompromising. Downward Spiral. It was an album I needed to make, but it wasn't reactive to "fuck you for giving me that money, I'll show you," you know. But there was a sense of, when I turned it in, I remember saying, "Sorry, you know, shouldn't let me do what I wanted to do." And immediately the label said, "That's the single." The record came out and it started getting played with censored, and it's time to make a video. I've always been frustrated in the world of videos because a lot of times you felt you were at the mercy of who you choose as a director.
I've heard that he doesn't like the Perfect Drug video, and the Perfect Drug music video is my favorite music video of all time, and it kills me inside to hear that he doesn't like that video. And I know that, yeah, he's funny with music videos.
And every director is trying to make a demo film to become a feature guy, and you're just happening to film their experiment, and it was often what it kind of felt like.
That's what Limp Bizkit is for Fred Durst. Fred Durst literally wanted to make movies, so started a band so that he could do experimental videos, and the whole Fred Durst thing is a character. This is Limp Bizkit is what he is talking about. But he just did it with his own band. He just made up the band.
What it says and how it feels. Now there's a visual that can be equally or overpowering that gets thrown together in
while she
a
sleeps
couple weeks.
To the flowers, overpowering.
When I saw what it was really fucking good, and that was Mark Romanek. I had the experience of it made the song better to me.
Wow. God, this
As
reminds me
for the
of
track,
Rage.
there's always the frustration of what I'm actually singing about, and then the dumbed down interpretation. But that's all part of the lesson of, you know, once you let something out in the world, I can't control how you're going to feel about it.
It's got its own life.
I love the idea of something subversive crept its way into strip clubs around the world. You know,
Baddie Core, the original Baddie Core song.
And I do enjoy it.
All right. Love that. And then it said, all right, that's what I wanted to hear. So it was Hurt, Head Like a Hole, and Closer. So interesting hearing him talk about it. Love it. Love it.